So welcome to our Church360 Members webinar. We are going to be talking about adding and updating people's records today. My name is Rachel Brody. I'm an assistant marketing manager here at Concordia Publishing House, and I've been here about 3.5 years, but I've been with the CTS team, the Concordia Technology Solutions team, for about 3 months now. So I'm doing a training webinar to help train others who are also new at Members to hopefully help you learn as well, because I've learned a lot here in the last few months. My contact information is on the screen for you. It is the best way to get hold of me. Email or phone, I don't care which one. The 314 number is my number, and then that 800 number is our software support team, who are amazing, and they definitely can help out with any questions you might have too. But I wanted to go over a few things before we get started. And the first one is that this is a 25-minute presentation, because I'm going to try to save 5 minutes at the end for any questions you might have. So then please ask questions throughout. I might answer your question in the presentation, so I might not address it immediately. And if I don't answer it throughout my presentation, I will save that for that end for that Q&A session. And if I do not know an answer to your question, I will find an answer and I will email you or give you a call back, whichever you prefer, hopefully today even still, to get you that right answer. And this recording will be shared. We have a lot of members trainings this month, actually in the next couple of weeks. So as soon as all those videos wrap up, we will be sending out an email, so we don't email you a bunch of times, but we will email you once we are finished with all of our members trainings for this month. So hopefully you will get that email with this recording. It'll be on our YouTube channel. And a real quick outline for today's presentation. We will be talking about profiles, and that includes the households and persons, so the individuals. They're grouping with tags and smart groups, and these custom fields we can make. People views, which includes those individuals and households, marriages and givers, and then that Q&A session I mentioned. So then let's get started. I'm going to turn my camera off here. I'm going to go into our Church360 Members website here. I've logged on. And Jim, I see you've asked a question, and I will be getting to that right now once we get a quick overview of this. So then, this is Church360 Members. When you first log in, you'll see this. Today we will be mainly focusing on this Peoples tab. Now over here in Peoples, you have a drop-down with 4 different views. You have the individuals, which is what we are currently seeing. We have households, which groups them by families, our givers, and our marriages. We will talk about givers and marriages very briefly today, so we really are going to focus our time on individuals and households. So Jim, you had a question and you asked what's the best way to add a newborn child. Well, right now I'm going to go and add a person here. No matter which of these 4 views you are on, you will get the same view. So Jim, after we have a household set up, we'll go on and add someone like a newborn child, as you had asked. So I'm going to create a new household first. We have to do this because every person is tied to an address. So my household, I'm going to make one actually for my family. It's going to have myself, Rachel, in it. I'm a female. I'm going to make myself a member of the church. And then I'm going to have my husband. I'm going to say he's not a member. So once you've got your initial setup in, you can either click Add and Edit or Add. If you hit Add, it'll take you right back to this main view screen that we saw when we first logged in. So I'm going to go to Add and Edit because I want to edit their information right away. So you see I've created this new household really quickly. I'm going to first set up an address because, like I mentioned, everything is tied to addresses. So I'm going to use my work address here, South Jefferson in St. Louis, Missouri. And when I click out, it pulls up this Google Maps for me. And if you click on that Google map, you can see that there's other households in the area as well. We have the Albers, we have the Spearmans. So this is a quick way you can easily see, you know, who's in the area, who lives around each other. We've got the Burke household and everything. I'm also going to add some phone numbers here. say we have a household phone number, and you can be unlisted if you want, but I'm going to have my number listed. And whenever you're in Members, this goes for anything here, when I want to save information, I just click out of the box. So as you see, now I have a home phone number tied to my household, which has these 2 members. I'm going to quickly add an email address for our family. Let's say this is our email. Again, oops, helps to spell my last name right as well. Again, I'm going to click outside the box to save that. So now our household has an email. And say our household has a history. Maybe, you know, we transferred in from Trinity. And say we only want pastor to see this. So I can add that in so only pastor can see this. And maybe there's an attendance entry. Maybe they have certain access, but they get to see that as well. So you can add history notes in here. I can even add maybe there's a pastoral visit. Pastor Kent Williams visited us for some counseling right there. So then that's also shown. What else I can do with a household is I can add a family photo. So I've actually thrown up a quick picture I found on my computer here. My husband and I. So now we have a household picture. Makes it a little more personable. And you can also use Members. I'm not going to show you today, but you can also use Members to make directories, phone directories, or anything, and including pictures is an option. So having pictures in there is pretty helpful. We will show you later how you can do custom fields over here. So I'm not going to do that right now. But now I'm going to go into that individual record. So right now, I'm going to go to my own. You can see that it's tied myself to that Grody, that household address, because it's everything, like I said, it's tied through addresses. It has that household phone number. Maybe I want to add my personal cell number. So that's now known as my cell in there. This is giving you an error because there's a duplicate record, because when I was testing, I also put myself in here. So that would normally not happen. That was because I was testing with my name earlier. I apologize for that. Maybe I also want to add in my work email. So then now my work email will be in my member record for work, or for my church. And then that same history has pulled over into my individual record. Now, if you look over here, there's no family listed. And that is because when we make a household, we can't make that assumption that the people in the household are always husband and wife. Maybe it's a mother-daughter duo who's coming into the church. And a household is, it's really basically whoever is living in that house. So maybe you have some older adults who have older children, and they're both, this whole family is members of the church. The older parents would have their own household because they have a different address as their older children, who maybe there's 2 or 3 households then in a family. So we can't just assume that I'm related to the person in my household. So I have to go in here, pick my husband, add him as my spouse. Now, Jim, your question about adding the child, the newborn child, you would simply add that individual into the household, and there would be a child. So there would be a separate record, and then you tie them to everyone else through this section here. I can also add an individual picture, like I did for my household. So there's my picture in there now. And then there's these things called tags. We will dig into tags more. But right now I'm going to show you how you can just add them in an individual profile. So let's say I'm a VBS, I'm a craft leader. So I'm going to add that tag in, and I'm going to be part of Altar Guild, and let's say I'm a church musician for some reason here. So those are my tags, which again we will talk about in a little bit. And then on this far right over here, you can see that there's some demographic information you can enter in if you like. You can do your sex, your female, or your ethnic group, your birthday, and any date entry in Members. You do not have to know the full date. So maybe we only know the year and the month of this person's birthday. That is okay. Same for baptized. You can click that they are baptized and throw in, say I was baptized in 2002 of March. And now you see that has changed to say I'm a baptized member, because I was just a member before, but now in my profile it says I'm baptized. Same for confirmed. Say I was confirmed so long ago, I don't remember when that was, so I'm just going to throw in a date. Now deceased is the only date field that you do have to enter an exact date, because most of the time you know that date. And when you hit deceased, it automatically defaults to today's date, but you do have to enter that in. Claudia, I see your question about, you asked if several families had the same household name, and you asked if that would cause an issue with duplicates. That would not, because it would be tied to different addresses with having the different names. That was a good question though, thank you, Claudia. So then you can enter in these custom fields. Maybe we've entered in certain elder territories. So Elder Smith I'm in his territory. And say my occupation, since I'm in marketing, I'm going to put marketing in. So now that is my profile. And if you click up here, you see here's my husband's. You can put when they were married if you like, if you know that. Do we contribute jointly or separately? A lot of information you can store here. And you can also add the history, like we did as a household. You can add that on the individual level as well. So I'm going to move over back to people. Now on this view, you can click columns over here on the right and adjust what you see. So maybe you don't want to know their death day, but you do want their baptism date. Maybe you want to know their wedding anniversary. You can throw that column up and you see how my view has changed. Now that's coming up. Maybe I really don't want that and that was too large. I'm going to put their photo on there. So you can see now their photo is being entered in. You can also pull this little drop down here. You can see everyone. You can see just your members, which are two default views. Or you can say you want to quickly find a list of greeters. Now this will include everyone who has greeter as their tag. So now that I've talked about tags a few times, I'm going to go deeper into them. So if you click the little gear up on your top right-hand corner, you'll see this tags, and it has the little shopping tag next to it. This will list all the ways that you can tag your individuals. Now these are these are static. So these will help you kind of to make lists of people who are tagged certain ways. So if I want to see these 4 people who have been tagged as babysitter, maybe I need someone in the congregation needs a suggestion of a babysitter. I can make that for them. Or let's say if we scroll down here, we want to see everyone who's been tagged with men's club. So then this is a list of those who have actually been physically gone through and put men's tag as an option. Now if you noticed on here, you can also change the color of your tag if you'd like to have a little bit of color visual as you look at them all. Because when you go to people, you can see it's a little more visually friendly when you have those colors added in. So I'm going to go back to my tags really fast. And you can see you can have as many tags as you want. It's very easy to make a tag. So I'm going to make a quick one here that is called bus driver. Maybe we have a bus that goes around for our church and picks up maybe some of our shut-ins or maybe some of our local kids from the school or something for our church services. So I've typed in bus driver. I've chosen this purple color I want it to be. And then I'm quickly going to hit add tag. So now you see bus driver is up here. but there's 0 people with that tag. So now that I'm actually in this tag, I'm going to go and I'm going to add myself as a bus driver. Oh, sorry, that's filtering that tag. But now that that bus driver tag is shown, I'm going to filter in here. See, I'm in here a couple times because I was playing. But I can go back into here. So I'm going to say, oh, I'm a bus driver. Oops, I did not type it all the way. I'm a bus driver. There it is. But say I also am inside an individual record and I want to make another tag from here. So if you see, let's say I am a lawn care expert as well. So I'm going to type in lawn care and simply hit enter. And now it's added. And if I go back to my tags, if I search for that lawn care one that I just made, oh, it's not going to pop up. See, here's this lawn care one that I just made while I was in my profile, and I'm the only member there. So you can easily make tags inside individuals or on this tag screen itself. So it's really handy. Another way to group people besides tags that is very helpful are these things called smart groups. So if you go back up to that gear on the top right-hand corner of your screen when you're logged in, you'll see smart groups with a light bulb, and you'll click on that. Now smart groups are more dynamic, and they are based on some criteria that you set. So if you see here, our simple one is called adult members, and anyone who are people who are living, they're currently members, and their age is between 13 and 150. They will automatically be matched into this adult members smart group. So it looks at all that demographic information you've entered on their individual record, and it puts them into a group. So what's really awesome about smart groups is that they're always going to be changing. So let's say we have a men's ministry smart group here. These people are living, male, they're older than 20, and they're currently members. And then you can click on those, and it'll pull up that whole list for you. And I'm not going to show you how to do it today, but you are able to easily download this screen, which become then a report. We have other webinar videos that I can share with you if you are interested in learning more about reports. So let's go look at another smart group. So here's a Sunday school smart group. It's people who are living and whose Sunday school grade is any grade. So to work on this smart group, I clicked on it, and this is where you add that criteria. You add the traits. So let's pick a different one that's a little better. Actually, let's make our own. So this is going to be called, let's say it's lawn care. It's my theme for today. And these are going to be people who are living. They're going to be members. And they're going to be age is greater than, let's say, 15. Say these are people that maybe for whatever reason I'm trying to make a smart group of people who could help me with my lawn care around the church. Let's just make up a crazy excuse like that. So now I've added my lawn care smart group. Here's my criteria that I made, and this shows me that 135 people have automatically been added to that group. Say I want that to be a little smaller, so I can simply click on my smart group. I'm going to edit this to make it 23. Let's say they need to be older. So now it's down to 110. So it's very easy to go in to create and to edit smart groups. So say now I really don't, I can handle the lawn care with my own, between myself and a couple other members who have decided to volunteer their time. So I'm going to delete this smart group, and now that's not there. You can have as many smart groups as you like, just like you can with tags. And it's just kind of an easy way to create dynamic groups. So as you add new members, or as members deceased or transfer out, you can keep track of them in these special smart groups here. So I'm going to go back to my people view. I see here, Claudia, you've got a couple questions. I'm going to address your tags question here right now. Claudia asks they have associate members, and can they make a tag just for associate members? You definitely can. That would be as simply as going in and making a tag like I did earlier. That would be associate member, like this, add tag. But then you would have to go in and tag all of your associate members individually. So what I would suggest is making a smart group with them. So you would have your associate member here as a smart group, and then you would make a field. Again, this would have to be a lot of setup on one end, but you would do, you would create a custom associate member field for each individual. So yes, it'd be like you're tagging each one, but then once this is set up, you would just automatically, as you have new members come in, tag them either as an associate member or not, and then this group would automatically update. But that is definitely something you can do. And Claudia, I see you also asked something about the dates for deceased. Oh, let's see. Where am I? Let's go here. I am not finding myself. Anytime you don't find something you need, hit refresh. And I'm still, oh, because I'm in men's ministry. That's something a lot of people do. If you aren't finding, I was trying to find myself. I had a filter on over here of men's ministry. I want to find everyone and spell my name properly. Claudia asked about the deceased year, how I was saying you need to have that in. She was saying some people only can have a date. So let's say in 2007, and on here you do have to have the month and the day. So if you don't know, I would just suggest having the year, maybe doing January 1 of that year, and maybe making a note in here on this deceased. I added a memo, month and date approximate. Oops, I spelled everything wrong today. So then that's probably the best way to do that. And if you noticed, when someone has deceased in your system, you get this cross added too. So we are getting near my 25 minutes, unfortunately. Let me make sure I've covered everything in my notes that I want to cover today. I believe I have. So really quick, I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint. And I want to remind you, we have a blog. If you go to 360members.com/blog, this will be the best place to get product updates. We will send an email if you subscribe to our blog, but you get to pick the frequency. So maybe if you want to email every time we have a new post, we can do that. Or if you just want it every month, you can do that too. You get to set that because we know your time is very valuable. We also have training manuals available for members. They're $25 plus shipping, but they're very thick, heavy, high-quality manuals, and they're full of information. We also have a lot of training available online. So the training manuals can be found at 360members.com/training. We also have a YouTube channel where a lot of our webinars are available. Here's my contact information if you'd like to write it down or take a picture, whatever you want. I'd be happy to answer more questions if I can't get to them today, or maybe you're reviewing this and you come up with another question, or you're watching the recording. I would be happy to answer a question via email or on the phone. And like I mentioned before, our software support team, whose info is on this slide, is also very helpful. And if it's a more technical question, they are probably your best bet. So now I'm going to leave the question box open. If you do have any questions, type them in that box and I will get to them. Claudia, I see your question based on your other one about associate members. You can definitely add in a custom field that would say maybe associate member. And then when you're adding in new members, you would simply maybe hit yes or no. So once you have all that back-end work set up, you would just, here, let me see if I can show you on members. You can set up these custom fields over here, and maybe one of yours is associate member, and then when you click on it, maybe it's yes or no. So then once that's set up and you add new people in, you would just simply click yes or no, depending on whatever their status is for your church, and that would be how you would do it. And Levi, I see your question about custom fields. You are right, I completely forgot to mention that. So if you come under that gear again where we had our smart groups and our tags, if you go under general settings, it is under admin status. So you probably do need to be an admin to see that. But Claudia, this would also be where you set up that custom field for your associate members. And as you see here, you can only have 5 active custom fields at a time. You can also have custom fields for households too. Yeah, Jim, we can easily go back and quickly add another person. That's no problem. So say we have a household here. I'm going to find mine. There's my household. So say we had a child. I'm sorry, first you need to add the individual. So the household name would be Grody again. Nope, you were so right. We go back to households first. Sorry about that. And I'm going to add a person in here. Say we have a child XYZ right now. I'm going to add them. Oh, okay, so it does look like we need to have them as an individual first and then tie them to our household. So I'm going to go here because that's the one that I've been working on. I'm going to add this new child XYZ. They're a female and they are also a member. So I'm going to add and edit, and you see how they've already have back to my household here. They've already got the address tied to it. So Jim, one more time, since I was a little flustered there, you would go to add new. You would search for that household that's already existing. So since I've been working on this one today, say we have an Adam now who's a male and he was a member, and add and edit, and now you see that there's the Grody household, and it has, I am not on there because I was playing with deceased and it says I'm deceased. But there's my husband, our first child, and then this second child. So you just go in, find that household, and then add that new individual. Claudia has a question about if they have the same address but different apartment numbers. That's a good question. So I'm going to go into this. I'm going to copy and paste this address, and I'm going to add a new household with, say they're also the Belton family. It's going to be a new one. This is going to be a testing here. They're a male and they're a member. New. Test. Oh, this would be easier if I just do it this way for you. So when you do a mailing address, you would also want to add in apartment number here. So you would do like apartment 3. And then in the other household that might have the same address, but maybe they're apartment 5, you would just add in that apartment 5 in there. Are there any other questions? It was a lot of information very fast, I know. So I'd be happy to sit here for a couple more minutes if we have questions, but we are at our time limit, and I want to respect your time. So thank you. I will stick around a couple more minutes, but if you do need to go, thank you so much for attending today. You feel free to always email me if you have questions. I'll put my contact information up here again. Email, phone call, whatever you like. But thank you again for your time. I really appreciate it. Thanks for that feedback, Jim and Levi. That was very helpful. I'm glad you guys could attend. Thank you. Looks like we only have a few people left, so I'm going to sign off now, but please feel free to take that contact information and send any other questions your way. You had great questions today, and I really hope I helped, and I hope you found this valuable. Thank you again.